One.
Hello everyone, my name is Crazy or Dead End.
I'm Curly.
Howdy, I'm Trix.
And welcome to the first episode of Touchy Topics podcast, where if you get offended, we don't care. The first episode is going to be talking about the lgbtq plus community. Yeah! Cool. So disclaimers for this video so you don't get angry and pull a Karen on us. We will be talking about sexuality, gender, pronouns, homophobia, discrimination, and communities that have yet to been added officially. If you think that you might get offended over these topics, click off because we don't want you to sue us. So, just to introduce ourselves, we have Curly, who is our technician guy. He's recording the videos, he's going to post it on YouTube, blah, 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 blah. Hopeful, say hi, Hopeful.
Hello.
He is bisexual, correct?
Yeah.
And so he's gonna give us an opinion on the matter. And we got Trix, who's just an outsider.
Hey.
Okay, so Hopeful, what do you like? What is the LGBTQ plus community?
It's other people that identify as something else or like different genders. Say if you're gay, it's a boy liking a boy, lesbian, girl liking a girl, and so on.
So it's people who go away from the norm.
Technically, yes.
Okay.
What?
So,
I'm trying to.
So you said gays are people who like men who like men, right?
No.
Yes.
Lesbians are people who like women.
Yep.
What are pansexuals?
Pansexuals are people that like someone because they're them and not their wife.
So they like everybody.
Yeah. They like them because of their
Okay.
personality.
Okay. So next is, what is an omnisexual? I think, aren't they pretty similar?
A what?
An omnisexual, from what I've looked up, it's people who, it's like pansexuality, but they don't identify as anything.
I think
Does
I
that
should have
sound-
studied for this test some more.
It's fun. And maybe you know this one. And when I was looking these up, I found a thing called asexuals.
Asexual is basically someone who doesn't need sex for pleasure.
So they don't like doing it with other people?
They don't care for it, but if their partner really wants it, most of the time they'll do it.
Okay. So, as that, we got sexuality and stuff, but I've also found out, like, stuff like, and you talked about introducing it, like, identity. So, what I've learned, I think I know a little bit, transgender is where someone switches their gender, correct?
Yes, so if you were a boy, you go to a girl's a boy.
Okay, and there's surgeries for that to get, switch body parts.
Yeah.
What do you, like, okay, how does everyone feel about that? Like, how do you feel that, like, say you birth a son, and then they're like, hey, I'm gonna have a surgery and give myself, like, the different part to, get, like, I want to be a woman. What is everyone's opinion on that?
Care.
As long as they're not bothering me or, like, making it a big deal, like, oh, I should get more privileges than other people because I'm trans, it doesn't bother me.
So, Trix, what is your opinion on it? I know you're a very talkative man.
Well, personally, it doesn't matter to me because I am not them, and until they're 18. When they hit 18, if they want to get the surgery, that's them. They're an adult.
So you don't think like a 13-year-old should just go to the hospital, get their stuff cut
No,
off?
kids at a young age, I would know, don't fully think everything through.
Yeah.
So, let's say you have a new video game and you want to play it. You play it, you don't like it. Well, you have the video games, so what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
But I do have a question for Hope. What is it called when they let's say a dude identifies as a girl but would rather keep the parts? Is that the same thing, or is that a whole different thing?
I am not very sure about that because I was only recently introduced to all this.
Oh, so you're a new person. Okay, so
Yeah.
This is similar to asexual. You're like people who don't like doing stuff. So non-binary, is that sort of the same thing where they don't want to do something?
They don't really identify as anything.
So they're not a boy, they're not a girl, they're
just that.
okay. So as I was looking up this, I found gender fluid, and it was sort of the same thing, but except they switch up like occasionally, like some days they could be a girl, some days they could be a boy, some days they could be an it and stuff like that. Have you heard of that, or have you met people who are like that?
Yeah. One of my good friends is gender fluid. Basically whatever they're feeling that day.
So it's just like an emotion, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Trix, you were talking about like how if a transgender would keep the parts, is that different?
Yes.
I think so. I found something, and they're very similar. These two, but it's one identifies and one is. So the people who identify as like both genders, like they want to be both genders, they want to be male and female, are called bigender. They identify as it, but they don't have the parts. The people who do have the parts, either they are born with it, they had a surgery, or whatever, are called hermaphrodites. They're people who are born with the like body parts and functions of everything. So I just wanted to answer that question. And I also read something somewhere that hermaphrodites, because they have both organs, can like impregnate themselves. I think that's weird and stuff, because like, would that just be a straight up clone?
No, it would not. You would only get half of the genes, if I remember correctly. It would. The children typically don't last too long.
Well, if they...
Yes, when reproducing, you get half from the father and half from the mother. If you happen to be both, you don't just give all, you give half no matter what.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Curly, you said... What did you say again? You said...
The children don't typically live long if they're born at all.
So, I also read somewhere it was... There are lesbian couples who would... Like, of course they can't really have a baby on their own because they don't have the organs to do that. So they would take bone marrow and make babies out of that. They would turn it into, like, a substance and they would make a baby out of that. I don't know how it works, but typically they're really, like, malformed.
They don't typically last long either.
Yeah, they don't typically last. From what I've read, the longest person that lived like that was like maybe a couple weeks.
Do you guys look at that as a sign of torturing, just to bring a baby in the world for it to last like a goldfish, like a week?
I think adoption would be a better option.
Adoption is...
Obviously, it does not work.
Adoption is definitely a better option. It's,
If you want to produce your own baby, couldn't you just go to like a sperm bank and do stuff
Yeah,
like
that's
that?
what I was thinking, like, maybe they could just, but, like, usually the people who do that, like, do not like men. and like want to do it themselves. Like they don't like men. They think men are disgusting, and that's going to be another episode we're going to talk about. Is like, you know, it's going to be we're going to do the cam thing. It's kill all men, and I'm going to bring that up. But so let's get that out of the way because we don't want to do too much.
Subscribe if you want to see that episode soon.
It's way better to adopt because a child that doesn't have a home is getting one, and if they don't, then it's just gonna live for like a week.
Yeah. Like
It would.
I mean, like, what's the purpose if you know it's gonna die?
Exactly.
It's more of an independence thing. I feel like they want to be independent and make the baby between themselves. There's also there's also like a scientific thing with this where, you know, some people are going to want to explore, hey, how long can we push this? Can we make it viable enough to where we don't need a male and a female to go repopulate? We can take 2 females or something like that. Like,
but like in that order, you'll have to do like lab things, and I think that's a bit inhumane. Like, people
that gets
making something that is not like godlike. Even though I'm not really religious, and I'm not trying to push religion on people, but like if the story of the Bible is true, like, and it's like made, like they were made for each other, like it is.
It would be like the hermaphrodite. They'd have the same set of genes, besides the genes that decide.
Is it the X gene that the man has and the Y gene, or is it the other way?
It's the other way.
Okay, so it's like a Y chromosome. Like, if 2 Y chromosomes, that doesn't happen. Like, even females have sort of like X chromosomes. It's just they have a other thing for.
Oh, and disclaimer, if you want to correct anything we're saying in this video, like, just leave a comment or something.
Oh, yeah. If I'm saying something wrong, comment, join the Discord, like, just say, hey, I did this wrong, and I'll put something out. I don't want to spread information. I ain't no Joe Rogan. But yeah. So, hey, hopeful. So, it's about, I think this is a fairly new thing. It's in a lot of social media, but pronouns. People using pronouns. So it's like how they identify themselves.
Sorry, my internet cut out. Yes, what were you saying?
So, pronouns, like we were talking about how they're in social media, and like, is there pronouns that you use that may not be like he, him, she, her?
No, I do not use any, but there are a lot of people that do.
Yeah. And some of the ones that, like, besides, I picked the ones that are not just he, him, she, her, because those are, like, normal. Could you please explain, like, what is it and it? Like, people who identify as a it.
I think.
Is it like a non-binary? Do they not identify as?
Yeah. It's basically like it's a neuter third person pronoun.
So it's like, so it's a third person. Like they're not there. Okay. So. I think this. Okay. Yeah.
What about pronouns such as like Z and Zer, like Z?
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. Hit in the head. So you said it is connected to non-binary. So does that mean they them? They them is connected to like what is it? Bi-gender, where they're both male and female.
I think. I'm still learning, so like Curly said, if we said anything wrong, just put it in the description.
Yeah. So, like you said, Trix, you were bringing up Neo Pronouns. This is gonna be a big topic, what is y'all's opinions on Neo Pronouns, and then I'll say my opinion.
I personally think they're redundant.
What could you elaborate?
Like, to go to such an extent that, I'm gonna make my own gender up and use that. That's kind of it's kind of big-headed.
Yeah. Okay. I could. Okay. Trish,
Couldn't this problem just be solved if you just called them by their name?
I mean, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, just
Like,
use a name, not.
I'll give some examples of Neo Pronouns. Zim. Oh wait. Zim. Zay. Like, it's like where they change one letter most of the time. Those aren't really pronouns anymore. They're just, at that point, they're more like adjectives. They're describing who you are. I don't really think they're pronouns at that point. I think they're just made up words.
I completely agree with that.
They're just not real. And I think if you just can't find any pronouns that you like feel comfortable with, just put like just say don't identify or something like that, or like, because like at that point they're not even really pronouns.
I'm gonna have to agree with Curly on this one. I don't really understand it.
Yeah, but I did some research because this is a big controversial one. So
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't understand why you would need to go, like, have to make your own.
and
I think it's
people-
pretty. So I think people are just wanting to be different.
Okay, so, yeah, I think just people want to be different, and I don't really think that's too bad. Like, it's not too bad, but it gets to a degree where it gets bad. So people are obviously gonna listen to this. They're gonna get mad, and they'll think we're gonna be homophobic. So Hopeful. What is, like, what words do people use who are homophobic that actually hurt the community, like make them feel down, and is used as degrading words?
Like, free, or that you're not worth anything, or something like that.
What about the F word, not the FU, but like
The slur.
yeah, the slur. How does
Yeah.
do you think that does that offend you at all if someone calls you, hey, you're a
Well, not really me, but it does offend most people. I just learned to, like, brush it off.
okay? So why do you think homophobia happens? Like, what are some things you think that why people would choose to be this way?
But some people aren't ready for the world to change at all. And they're just, they don't, they just, agree with the Bible and stuff that says, like, a man can't like a man and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've heard about that, and there are people who are religious and like do agree that like gays should be accepted.
Yeah.
I think we should do like a video over like religion next. That'll vastly help out this.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, when it comes to conflict, it all relies on one thing, and that's opinions. Someone will have a different opinion for you, and other than respecting it, most people do, it seems that a lot of people want to call out them for having a different opinion. But
yeah, it's basically like Twitter, which is another episode we're gonna do, social media. Like, I mean, this is gonna sound bad, but there's always gonna be homophobia. There's always gonna be homophobia.
No.
Is it a good thing?
No. God, no. But it's going to happen.
It's like racism. It's horrible.
It'll eventually get to where there are so few people it won't really matter.
Yeah, but there's still going to be people who are ignorant and won't change. And it's pretty sad.
The idea is the only way you can get rid of a problem is either by fixing it or yet ignoring it. They get a pleasure just watching people that they call names react, so at a point it's just going to be like, your opinion, I don't really care what you think.
Oh, yeah. So, homophobia, does it happen to everyone in the community? Does it only happen to certain people in the community?
And I'd like to point out that not everything would be called homophobia, you know, transphobia, biphobia. It's not just homophobia. It'd be more like a phobia, it'd be a phobia against the community, collectively.
Okay, so you said about, like, transphobia, and this is going to be the biggest part, I think, in our thing, where people are going to really get angry. But you said transphobia and all that. Heterophobia. The phobia of straight people. Do you think it is happening, or, like, is it going to happen, or is it already, like, in action and people?
It is definitely happening.
Both sides.
Yeah, it's both ways, and that's not going to solve anything. It's just going to make the conflict worse and worse. Until it's
like a war. It's like no side's gonna win.
Either
way, they're gonna have a destruction.
If it keeps going the way it's going, it could possibly lead to real world interactions instead of just keeping it online.
Yeah, and I think there's already been stuff like there's been LGBTQ rallies being bombed, shot at, and it's sad. It's really sad because, like, people have the right to voice their opinion. Even if the other person thinks, oh, it is not a good opinion, they still have the right to voice that.
Yeah.
So back to what I was saying. I've seen TikToks on TikTok where it's people who hate on straight people. They say, if you're straight, you're homophobic, you're a racist, you're blah 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 blah. But if I'm correct, LGBTQ plus, the plus community, I think one of the things is an ally. They're people who are not in the communities, but, like, support the communities. If I'm pretty sure, I think they're technically a part of the LGBTQ plus community.
If I can give my perspective, I look at it as people just, hold on.
Hopefully you got anything to say. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much, just hop in if you got anything to say.
Nah, I don't really have anything to say right now, but if I do have something, I'll say something.
Okay. And like I said, people can comment. If you comment on this video, we'll try to reply and we'll talk, and maybe we'll get you on the Discord, and maybe you can get on the we have a waiting room, and Trix is also the admin who is going to put people in the podcast so they can ask her questions and stuff. We're gonna do like Ben Shapiro style, and so if you want to ask us questions or say something that, like, oh, we got this wrong, just tell us, because we don't want to be wrong.
I feel like we should hold, like, one of these episodes as, like, a correction week every month.
Yeah. Every week or every month we can have, like, a question
Jesse's making
thing where
Jesse's
people join
making
us,
the
ask
dorms
questions,
mandatory
correct
from
us,
the beginning.
because, like, maybe, like,
Just tell me.
people could change opinions like they're changing underwear. Like, just inform me and open my mind to this world, because even Hopeful said he's really new to the community and he still doesn't get some things. So just inform us if you have, like, information about these topics, and we'll talk about it in the future, and we'll, like, correct our opinions and our wordings on things.
Since we're on the topic of people's different opinions, I think that it's important to notice that when people look at the LGBTQ, they look at it as a whole community, not as every separate person with their own separate opinion. They all get thrown into the exact same category. Same thing when it comes to the opposite side. Everyone looks at straight guys as homophobic.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's gonna be taken out of context, but I don't really like community, but I do like the people, because the community can be really toxic at times and stuff, but I don't want to really look at the community as a whole and be like, that's how every gay person, that's how every lesbian is, because they're not. There's people, Hopeful agrees with most of our topics here that...
He agrees with a good amount of them.
Yep. Yeah.
But
So...
It's just our personal experiences we've had with people in this community, and we've had negative interactions. So
yeah. So next thing is we were talking about the community, and there's people who want to join the community, but have yet to join it. So, and most of them are really sick. I'm gonna be honest with you, sick in the head, or is playing as a joke, or just like...
Yeah, there are definitely people who fake it for internet fame or something like that. Like that is
because some of them are real. Like some of them are true. Like I'll talk about it. We were talking about homophobia. Super straights. There are people who are straight, want to join the community, but they're also homophobic. And I think that would be why would you want to join a community filled with...
Isaac, for the love of God, keep it down.
It's just a way to make them...
I can't!
Just, they're just like, ooh, you're trying to join our community after being...
literally thought it
and it's
was
just
me.
making them mad. So they're getting a laugh out of just making everyone else in that community just sit there and get mad at them.
But there's people who actually believe, actually want to be in the community, but are homophobic and straight. Like, I ain't saying every straight person's homophobic, but there's people who are in this community, these super straights, who hate gay people, but want to join the community where there's billions, trillions of people in those communities. And I'm like, isn't that a bit, counteracting your whole goal?
I suppose so, but at the end of the day, everyone wants to just feel something, so them just feeling either involved or just watching them suffer, quote unquote. What I mean is just them getting mad at them. Everyone's everyone is human inside. Everyone on both sides is a human. People say bad things, people say and threaten people, but at the end of the day, we're all humans, and you need to understand that.
Too close.
Yeah,
I'm not even kidding.
Thank you for reminding me about Super Straight, because that actually reminds me of one thing I heard earlier.
Isaac, I'm not even kidding. Too close.
Okay.
What is your opinion on Dreamsexual?
Oh, that was actually the next thing. Dreamsexual. The people in the fandom, I'm a fan of many.
I would like to state that there are two dreamsexual sexualities.
Oh, okay, so
There's one.
inform me after that.
Yeah, there's one where you feel extreme attraction during a dream, and then there's the one that the Minecraft stan community has made up.
So there's an actual one where you're looking at a dream and you're like, I like that dream.
I guess I'm not really well versed. I like I said, I'm learning these topics as we go. So.
Okay, so wouldn't that just be like a wet dream though? Like
I couldn't.
People are gonna have to inform us about that type of dreamsexual. But the dreamsexual we're gonna talk about is the fandom of a Minecraft YouTuber, the big Minecraft YouTuber named Dream, and stan communities could be really, really, really weird. There's good people in the fandoms, people who draw art, make music and stuff like that. But then there's the creepy side, and this is what it is. people who are attracted to the YouTuber. And I'm like, that's not a sexuality. You're either straight, gay, bi, pansexual, or anything that feels attraction to the same gender or the opposite gender if you're the opposite gender.
Yes, you do.
And just like, I don't think you have your own sexuality. You may have a preference, you may like him, but that's not a sexuality.
I completely agree with that statement.
Exactly. It's not a whole new thing.
Yeah. So, speaking of weirdos, and we're getting into the people I loathe, these are the people I absolutely hate. And here we go. Zoophiles. People who have sexual attraction to animals are probably the most sickest people in the head. They are sick in the head. I'm sorry. I cannot look at a dog, or rabbit, or anything and be like, yes, I want to basically traumatize an animal for my own sexual pleasure. That is... Do y'all have anything to say on that?
It's terrible. Like,
I agree.
that
Furries are interesting, but zoophiles are just
furries are attraction to, like, never mind, hold on.
they're attracted to more like fake and fantasized
Yeah.
characters.
I don't think all furries are bad. I have friends who are furries. Like, they just like... It's like, just like cosplay, basically. It's when you get to the point where you actually take out those fantasies in real life.
Yes.
Alright.
I don't have a problem with the furry community, and I've seen a lot of posts where they actually call out zoophiles and saying that they don't accept it.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely very healthy for their community to distance themselves.
I see things on Twitter where it's like, they're posting a picture of their cat and they just said like, oh, I just did this with my cat. And I'm like, how sick in the head do you have to be? You are like not mentally okay. Like that is, I can't even wrap my head around it that people do this. And it is, you're basically torturing that animal. It is like, it is sick. So,
If I am correct about this, I do believe that does fall under animal abuse.
it does,
Yes.
it does, it's illegal.
Yes, it does.
And I hope that this is a joke. I really do, but from things I've seen, I don't think it's a joke. I think people are actually serious. People are... I'm going to throw up just thinking about it.
Well, if you do even a little bit of research about it, like you can definitely find stuff to where there's actual proof. Like,
Yeah.
there's whole websites dedicated to it. I personally did not look at it. I will say that I looked at it for research.
Oh, no.
I looked at it to make sure, like, oh, this can exist, right? But you know, obviously it does.
Obviously, you don't want it to exist, but sadly, it does.
Exactly.
Murder. It's like rape. It's like all those other things. You don't want it to happen. You can't, like, you don't want to do it. You can't believe it's happening, but it is happening, and it's sad.
Yes!
Exactly.
So the last thing we have on this podcast, and we're gonna wrap up after this, is also sick people, but they're not two animals, they're two people, young people, children, cloversexuals or clover gender, people who think they're, like, I don't know if this is the same thing, because they were in the same article that I read, but there's some people who think they're kids trapped in adult bodies. In that case, in that, they want to be able to have a relationship with a child. And I think by definition that just makes you a pedophile.
Yeah, it does.
Yes. I would understand.
It definitely does.
Trying to hook up with the kid, and they were just trying to like hold on to the grasp of being a child, having like no responsibilities. You know, just always going through a midlife crisis. But
Yeah, I
There's help for that. There's help for that.
They
You
don't.
could be an old man who talks to little kids and stuff. Be like, you can be friends with the kids, but no sexual attraction. No, that is illegal. That is sick.
This also goes along. I don't know if y'all heard about this, but Matt,
Yes.
same people or whatever.
They're basically just the same thing, just under different names to try and pass it off yet again.
Yeah,
I've never heard of this. So what is it called?
Matt.
Maps?
Yeah.
So like MAPS?
Isaac, god dang, bro.
So what do they do? Is it just the same thing as like clover sexual or clover gender?
Yeah, I've not seen it recently, so.
The LGBTQ community has stated several times that they're not affiliated with them, which is very good for the.
I've heard like these are communities that want to join but have been restricted or have been kicked out.
Yeah, that definitely a good decision on the community's part.
Yeah, and I think the community has done some good things. They're not all bad, but I think the community could do something better. Like they could take money, like they have like GoFundMe's and stuff. They could take that money to have information, like inform people, and not just spend all the money walking in the streets. Like I think protests are fine, but like try and inform people, and maybe you could change their mind.
I definitely agree with that. I'll always try and go the peaceful option first, and slowly apply small amounts of pressure until right before the point of something very bad and brutal happening. Like, don't push it so far that you get people killed.
Yeah, and we're gonna talk about more protests in the other episodes. Like we're gonna do a BLM, Black Lives Matter. We're gonna do CAM, Kill All Men. And if y'all have any, if people watching this video, if y'all have any topics y'all would like us to cover, join the Discord. And we have a channel just for it. You would just put like topics you may want us to go over. We'll look at them, do our research, and we'll be like, hey, okay, we'll do this, and we might make an episode about it. But
And the
that's all I have right now. Please
correct us if we've said something wrong. Like,
yeah, like I said, we said countless of times, correct us if we are wrong.
that is the most important thing.
That's all I have on this one. If you have any information, please tell us. I'm crazy.
I'm Curly.
I'm hopeful.
I think Trix is doing something.
Oh god. Okay, we'll just close it out.
Yeah, we'll just close it out here.
How about we
This
just
is-
edit them back in?
This has been the Touchy Topics podcast. Please like and subscribe. Join the Discord. It'll be in the description. And have a good day.
See ya.